Hi, welcome to Talking Old World. I'm Nick, and I've been painting some stone trolls. So I started off with a Chaos Black Prime, and then I went ahead and put a layer of Thunderhawk Blue on them, all over pretty much, just not his weapons and his loincloth, I think we call it. And then I moved on from there and I went with some Wraithbone and put that as a base layer over that loincloth. Whoops, little splodge on his leg there. I'll tidy it up later. So this troll is made of metal, comes from the Made to Order set that GW did back in May. There's 6 of them in total. They've been loads of fun to paint. I think I've got like 1 or 2 left before I can put them on the table. So, finishing up the Wraithbone around the cloth, I then moved on to some grey Seer and a dry brush. I'm going to slack chop his weapon, or pre-highlight it, call it what you like. So, taking off most of the paint, but it's quite a heavy overbrush, I guess, over the weapon. Looking to get out all those details. All the way around the rock and the handle. And then when we're happy with that, we'll move on and get some white scar and go over it again, just to take it up another notch. Just be careful you don't put too much on your brush, like I did there. Never mind, it'll still work. I use Zandri Dust to base all the bone. Just going over his toenails and his fingernails and his teeth as well. Getting all of them with the Zandri Dust. So yeah, coming on now. We'll move on to some Celestra Gray and use that to put over some bits of his body just to get a bit of contrast into his skin, so on his belly and on his ears as well. So we're running an old world campaign at my local gaming club. There's about 16 of us in there. It's been loads of fun. I've only had a couple of games so far, but I've ran 3 stone trolls in my list. I'm doing a 600 point troll horde, more of a troll huddle at the moment, but it's been loads of fun. These guys have been absolutely brutal. Rerolling regens is so strong. I've just found that being absolutely clutch to winning the games. I haven't come up against anyone with flaming attacks yet though, and I know everyone's been looking at what they can do to combat it, so we'll see. Moving on to some contrast now then. I went with Wyldwood for the handle of his weapon. It works quite well as a base layer for any kind of wood, and then you can highlight it up with, well, I tend to use Baneblade Brown. And then we'll do some Gore Grunta Fur. And this is all going to go on that cloth piece. And then some Basilicanum Grey. It always gets a lot of white sediment in the bottom of the pot, so it needs a real good shake, this one. I tend to use it a lot for stone. It looks pretty good. You can dry brush over it as well to make it look even better. I know some people don't really like it or just don't use contrast for painting, but I found it's great for picking out some of the details, a few little bits here and there quickly. He's got a couple of little rings in his ear, so I used some lead belcher for them. Some of the other models had a lot more metallics on them, but this guy's just got these. Just trying to be careful not to get it on anything else. Back to the Zandri Dust now. Gonna paint that in over the top of the rope on his weapon. So I've got 6 stone trolls, 3 river trolls and 3 common trolls for my troll horde so far. I've got some spider riders as well and a troll hog, of course. I'm quite a few points short of 2000, so I need to work out where else I'm going with it. Oh, I did get Ogdrus as well, but still, yeah, plenty of points to spend, and I'm not sure where to go with it. I'm not sure if 12 trolls is enough really for a troll horde, so maybe I'll have to find some more of them. But then maybe something fast. I really like the Boar Boys models. I've been wondering whether I can do like a Boar Boys Death Star to go with them. Yeah, I'm not sure. I could just go for a Wyvern, but that seems to be the meta choice. I don't know if it's what I want to do though. I've already got high elves with a big dragon and stuff, so I might try and do something a bit different. So yeah, we went through and tidied up as well after doing that rope, and now we moved on to some Drakenhof Knightshade. I really like this bit. This is the most fun. Getting the shade on, it always sort of makes it all come together and start looking good, and kind of hides a multitude of sins as well. Covers all those missed gaps and things like that. So yeah, we're putting this all over the blue areas and the Celestra Gray as well. It really gets into the recesses on his skin, and yeah, the skin on these models is great. It just sort of sits in there nicely and helps give it loads of detail and makes it super easy to highlight up as well afterwards. I go a bit too heavy over his belly here, too much of that shade in the recesses there, so you'll see I wash my brush out and then come back at it with nothing on, just to take it back a little bit. Yeah, just to clear out some of that shade from the deeper parts, make it a little bit lighter. Yeah, so that's most of the shading done. He's looking okay now. So I'll get some Agrax Earthshade, and that will go over the bone areas and his nails and teeth. Just not that rope around his weapon. We'll use something else for that. When you're putting it around his teeth, it really kind of helps to sit in the recesses there and darken up his mouth. Put a little on his earrings as well. And then we'll use Seraphim Sepia for the rope. And then I went back for some grey Seer just to dry brush his weapon a little bit. Excuse the camera angle, that's not great. I'm just trying to very lightly now just get those edges highlighted. I'll get some white scar now for his eyes, and there's always one that looks like it's bulging out of his head, which is this one. It's not too difficult to get that tidily, but then the other eyes, yeah, much smaller and tricky to pick out. But I've not done bad with it on this model. Wasn't the same on all of them. But if you do make a mistake, it's easy enough just to come back in and with a bit of Thunderhawk Blue and tidy up around the eye. But yeah, that one's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Time to start doing some highlights now. The first bit is Karak Stone on all these bone areas and his nails and teeth. So I'm just picking out the higher areas of the model that I think need it, and then leaving the darker Zandri Dust in the deeper parts. One of the main reasons I really like these models is they are super easy to highlight. All the details are prominent and it just seems obvious what bits need to come up a notch and which bits should be left as they are. Next I use some Ushabti Bone to take those areas up another level. Just making sure it stays inside all of the Karak Stone that you've done. Which means for the nails it's basically just a tiny little dot on the top. Same goes with the teeth as well. But it does make a difference. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Pallid Flesh? Maybe. I use some of that to pick out the pock marks, the boil things that he's got on his belly. And then to make them look a bit pus-filled and disgusting, I use some Plaguebearer Flesh just in that area just to go around them, and yeah, I'm kind of a bit gross now. Back to his eyes, I use some Mephiston Red to dot them. Just trying to be really careful to get the right amount and the right flow on the brush before I come in, and then hopefully just get it in one, but you can never guarantee it. Well, some people probably can. Yeah, that was pretty good. This one will be a little bit more tricky though. Not bad. Excuse the camera angle again. Carrabourg Crimson now then. Gonna put some of this in around his gums. And just adding a small amount around the top and bottom of the white scar in his eye. Just makes him look a bit angry or stressed out. Maybe he's had a heavy night on the troll brew, who knows. So just back to his weapon now, and I want to use a bit of Baneblade Brown on top of the Wyldwood to make that stand out a little bit more. You don't really have to, but I just feel like a little bit here and there makes it pop a bit. Back to the Ushabti Bone again now, and the dry brush, we're going to do a very light brush over the rope on his weapon, trying to be careful not to get it on anything else. And I'm going to use some Deathclaw Brown on his loincloth just to highlight up the edges. Doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Can't really even tell when you're looking at it on the camera here. Maybe there on the back actually. Yeah. Just kind of picks out those edges a little bit. And then some Carrabourg Crimson again, because I forgot to do his ears before, which I've done on the other models. I think it just helps to make them look a bit more flesh-like. Just around the bottom, not all over. Getting towards the end now. I'm going to go with some Thunderhawk Blue on his biceps and his forearms, all those raised areas. It's really easy to highlight up this. You just on the knuckles and bumps on his feet and hands and on his back, and the square segments on his skin. And then to take him up another notch, we'll go with some Russ Grey, just on those same areas again, but yeah, just staying inside the bits that we've highlighted before. Just little dots here, flecking a bit around his eyes and his lips as well, just to make them look a bit more textured. I'll make sure to include a list of all the paints I've used in the description below the video. So yeah, picking out tops of his ears and them to really stand out. Those little bits on his spine there. And you don't have to go all over his skin, but I just picked out some of those segments that are on his shoulders and the top of his back. Yeah, and on his knuckles. So, last step now, bit of Ulthuan Grey on his belly, just picking out the folds of his skin, just trying to make them look a bit brighter. And once you've finished that, he's done. Well, apart from basing. And here he is, lined up with his buddies. That's 4 of them painted. I've got 2 more to do. If you've made it this far, then thanks for watching along, and I hope you got something out of it. If you did, then yeah, do those YouTubey bits like dropping us a like and a subscribe, and yeah, thanks again for watching. Cheers.